Yo, good to chill. And we are going to do an iceberg today. We originally did one for Tekken, and you can check that up on the channel somewhere up here. And this is going to be about Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't know what we're going to talk about when it comes to the knowledge that we know of JJK now, but it's going to be fun. So let's get busy.
This is the Jujutsu Kaisen Iceberg. It consists of 7 parts and is full of interesting theories and fun
Well,
facts about the show. The first stage of the iceberg contains mostly well-known popular theories you probably heard of before, but as we go deeper down the iceberg, the theories are slowly going to get more and more bizarre.
So initially, we're just going to talk about the director's cut when it comes to things that were taken out of the story, things that could have been changed, or things that was supposed to be in the beginning, type stuff. Like I said, it could be things that people know, people don't know. Since JJK season 2 was done, might as well get into a mix. Warning for the spoilers of the current arcs regarding the calling games and the final arc. That will be discussed here, so viewer discretion advised.
They completely blow your mind. And let's start with a really simple one. The moon theory. Same as most other animes, Jujutsu Kaisen has a lot of symbolism in it, specifically linked to Buddhism. One symbol commonly seen in the anime is a full moon, and every time we see it, there's a significant event that takes place. In Buddhism, a full moon represents birth, and the first time we see a full moon is when Yuji eats the first finger, symbolizing Sukuna's birth. In season 2, we see the full moon again on the day Riko and Tengen.
I'll put the guy's name on.
The concept of merging here is also considered a
I'm talking about the YouTuber. Yeah. It just slipped my mind. I forgot his name, but he's cool.
Birth, confirming the moon theory. The legend of Ryomen Sukuna. Although you most likely first heard the name Ryomen Sukuna in Jujutsu Kaisen's anime, you may be surprised to find out that he was actually a real person who existed in Japan's history and was later made out to be a myth. According to the legend, Sukuna, the two-faced spirit, is a strange being possessing 4 arms and 2 faces. He was described as quick, witty, and possessing superhuman strength. He was considered by most people to be truly heroic, having a kind heart and saving villagers from harm. However, in some places,
his face is still creepy. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Always torturing people and taking pride in killing them.
Alright, this is what I'm talking about, bro. But at this point, that's what the Peep. Y'all fans of JJK, this is what you expect. The real form of Ryomen Sukuna right here. Still creepy though.
Considering this and the fact that he has 2 faces, it's most likely that Sukuna has 2 personalities within him. One good and one evil. Next up, we have a mystery entry on the iceberg, and it's the one I'm sure most of you guys will love. Honkai Star Rail. Okay, this is definitely not a Jujutsu theory, but if you're an anime fan, let me tell you why.
I don't care, bro. I'm sorry. I don't care. Oh? Yege hates Gojo?
During the popularity,
why is that?
Yege specifically mentioned that he doesn't like Gojo as a character. Apparently it's because he made Gojo way too powerful and now is struggling to come up with situations and villains that are actually threatening to the strongest sorcerer. I mean, I guess he eventually found a way to make it work. The Cursed Energy. Cursed Energy is the main power system in the JJK. But have
Spoilers, something happened to Gojo and it's all because of Sukuna. I won't specify what happened, but not completely. All I say is, Gojo was half the man he used to be.
That it's quite similar to the power system of another popular shonen anime. I'm talking about Hunter x Hunter. In the world of this anime, there's a technique called Nen, which pretty much allows people to harness their life energy. It's a defining feature of Yoshiro Togashi's manga and plays a crucial role in its narrative. Interestingly, there's a fascinating connection between Nen and the Cursed Energy
that's the
from
inspiration
Jujutsu
of
Kaisen.
Cursed Energy.
Here are some of them.
Then
Both
again,
require rigorous training
it could
in
be
order to
anything
use.
but
Both
different.
are inaccessible to the average person, and they share striking visual similariars.
What, auras? Oh, that's like superficial. That's a like surface level thing right there. It's well written because of what, given auras and restrictions. But then again, Cursed Energy can be anything but simple. And yet it can be so fluid, but one can just say that is not that complicated. Because whether you have curse energy or not, all depends on what's going on. And I only find an issue with curse energy is that when people have heavy restrictions, the only people we knew up to this point was just both Toji and Maki, and they're both from the Zenin clan. Nobody else. Ain't that weird? That the only heavy restriction user are just people from the Zenin clan that we've shown in the story? What's up with that? If there was more, tell us. If you're not gonna show it, tell us.
Currently, Kento Nanami is one of the good guys, but it wasn't always supposed to be like
What's his
that.
role?
Apparently, Gege had originally planned to make Nanami a villain, but scrapped the idea.
Villain, huh?
I'm glad this guy is now on the good side.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
imagine
true,
how
true,
terrifying
true.
he would
So
be
all
as a
that
villain.
stuff we saw in
Okay,
some
most
movie,
of
like
these
he could have
theories
been
of
like a
back so far
villain.
are pretty simple and well known, but we
I
now
kinda
enter the
like
second
that.
stage, and here's where
How you feel about Nami being the villain, man? What do you think about that? Comment down below. Comment down below. What you think of Nanami being a villain in JJK?
start to get interesting. Gojo's words to Geto. In the Jujutsu Kaisen movie, Suguru Geto gets badly beaten by Yuta and is near death when Gojo finds him. At that time, Gojo sits down and says something to him that we don't get to hear, but we know that Geto replies with, "You should at least curse me in the end," implying that Gojo said something nice to him. Anyway, there's been many theories about what he might have said, but the most promising one is that he said, "We'll meet again." But what proof do I have of this? Well, the first arc of the second season is all about Gojo's and Geto's past, as the students at Jujutsu High. The opening for that arc is called Ao no Sumika, and the lyrics are written from Gojo's point of view. The reason I'm mentioning this is because there are a few lines in this song that hint Gojo's last words to Geto. "The words to curse you have been stuck in the back of my throat. We'll meet again, right?" A voice that can't be heard. This perfectly ties in with Geto's response and everything that happened in that scene. Yorozu gift. One of the Culling game players, Yorozu, is a powerful Jujutsu sorcerer from the Heian era who was incarnated into the body of Megumi's sister. Back in her first life, she had a very unhealthy obsession with Sukuna, and near her death, she gave him a mysterious final gift. Although we have no idea what she gave him, there is a great theory about it. A lot of fans believe she probably created one of his weapons from the Heian era, more specifically the spear that he holds every time his original form is mentioned. This would make sense considering Yorozu's curse technique is called construction and allows her to make pretty much anything she wants. If this is the case, we should be seeing Sukuna's original weapon pretty soon, as his battle against sorcerers is heating up. Kenjaku's manipulation. Immediately after Kenjaku managed to see
manipulator, it's all
the box fell to the ground with great force and couldn't be moved. At that point in time, there was nothing unusual with this, and Kenjaku explained it by saying that the prison realm just needed some time to process Gojo's incredible strength. But what if this was a lie? A lot of fans speculate that Kenjaku used his gravity manipulation power to do this on purpose and make it seem like the prison realm can't be moved. But why would he do this? Well, at that point, Kenjaku didn't need the special grade curses anymore since Gojo was already sealed, so it's possible that he just needed a reason to stay behind while all the other curses would go and fight sorcerers. He probably just wanted to exhaust the curses as much as possible so he could easily absorb them later, which is exactly what he did with Mahito after the latter was defeated by Yuji and Todo. Gojo's design. You probably noticed how Gojo's design looks a bit different in the movie Zero compared to the rest of the Jujutsu Kaisen. Although the movie came out between the first and second seasons of the show, the source material for the movie was actually created way before the first chapter of the manga. This is why Gojo looks a bit different, as it was the first time the creator tried to draw him. He later realized that drawing bandages over Gojo's eyes is pretty time-consuming and decided to change it to a regular blindfold later on. Mantis shirt Black Flash. Black Flash is a phenomenon in the Jujutsu Kaisen world that gives a major boost to physical attacks when the conditions are met. When the user applies cursed energy exactly 1/1,000,000th of a second after the physical hit, it distorts the space, causing the cursed energy to increase the power of the attack by 2 to 3 times. Okay, you all knew that, but did you know that this ridiculous...
Yeah, one of my favorite fights in the series was this. The tag team against Hanami. Man, Todo was a monster, bro. And Boogie Woogie ability just saved Yuji a bunch. You gotta respect it, bro. You just gotta respect Boogie Woogie.
ridiculously overpowered technique is based on real-life occurrences? Mantis shrimps are small alien-like creatures that can snap their claws together so fast they form a small vacuum bubble in the water. This causes them to produce a force so strong that they could never achieve by simply pinching the target. Using this weird technique, the shrimp can even break glass fish tanks. It's most likely that Gege Akutami, the creator of Jujutsu Kaisen, was inspired by these creatures and modeled Black Flash after this technique. Hakari's Domain. Hakari is a third-year student in Jujutsu High, is known to be incredibly powerful, to the point that even Gojo said that Hakari could rival his power in—
At first I had a problem with Hakari's domain to be overpowered to a point where it just makes people like Yuta and Gojo obsolete, but it's like, yeah, it's pretty much, man. I mean, the fact that he was able to like survive against someone like damn, what's his name again? The lightning dude. Yeah, there's a lightning dude that happened in manga. He's hype. He's a hype beast. He beat up Panda a little bit. It was Kashi Momo. Yeah, it was Kashi Momo. Yeah, that's the dude. That's the dude you gotta see in the Conan games. He's hype to a lot of people. Not so much with me.
Future. Regarding his domain expansion, it's inspired by the Japanese slot game called Pachinko. Basically, with each jackpot Hakari hits, he gains unlimited cursed energy for a short period of time, making him literally invincible. However, many fans believe that his domain is actually rigged in his favor. This is because the Pachinko game Hakari plays heavily relies on luck, and it's even stated that there's only a 1 in 239 chance of him hitting the jackpot. I know there's a bunch of stuff he uses to increase those odds, but still, Hakari just keeps hitting the jackpot over and over again, which makes it really hard to believe that it's legit. I mean, it's either somehow rigged in his favor, or the guy is the luckiest person on the planet. Tengen's gender. Master Tengen is one of the oldest Jujutsu sorcerers in the series, responsible for all the barriers surrounding Japan. Although everyone assumes Tengen is a man, it was actually revealed that their original form before they evolved was that of a woman. Tengen even corrects Yuki when they meet and tells her that she's a granny.
I always said that Tengen looked like a thumb, bro. Hi, how you doing, y'all? I'm Tengen. Hello. That's what I'm saying, bro. I said in my older, not so popular JDK videos back in the day. You see it up there somewhere. Reference to that video. I mean, a dope thumb. I don't know why people didn't check it out. It's crazy.
But there's still 5 left to go, and let's start the next stage with the theory I'm sure most of you didn't know about: Sukuna's birth. In the Jujutsu Kaisen world, twins are considered taboo. It's believed that twins limit each other's ability to thrive and that they're pretty much an incomplete version of themselves. Take Mai and Maki, for example.
Okay, Maki
Mai was born with the weak curse technique, while Maki got insane strength, but without the curse technique. All in all, they were both pretty weak by themselves. However, when Mai sacrificed herself for Maki, she became incredibly powerful and was finally able to utilize her full strength. So what if this is the same thing that granted Sukuna his immense power? You see, there's a theory that Sukuna—
Y'all gotta love Maki in the Culling games, man. When freaking season 3 happens, it's over for y'all. It just be more fights, more fights. So much for story.
was actually going to be a twin, but ended up consuming the other twin in the womb. This is how he managed to become ridiculously powerful, and would also make sense why he has 4 arms and 2 faces. This would also explain his thirst for human flesh in the Jujutsu Kaisen series. Rika's past. You all know Rika from the Jujutsu Kaisen movie as this sweet and innocent girl, but what if that's all an act? Although the movie didn't tell us anything specific about her childhood, Gege actually shared some concerning information about Rika in her manga profile. Here it says that Rika's mom died suddenly from unknown causes when Rika was 5. Sometime after that, she and her father mysteriously got lost while mountain climbing, and only Rika was found.
I think I read
She was later taken in by her grandmother, who—
This is weird stuff behavior, bro. I ain't gonna lie. And this dude, Yuta liked her, man, and I don't think he even knew about the past of Rika's parents, besides the grandmother.
Strongly believes Rika killed both of her parents. Although there's no way to confirm if Rika actually killed her parents or not, this dark side of her personality could explain why she became such a powerful curse. The first Culling game. The Culling game is one of the arcs of the Jujutsu Kaisen manga, and it's basically a deadly tournament. Almost every anime has a tournament arc, but nothing quite as deadly and complicated as this one in JJK.
Spoilers territory, right?
Kenjaku is the one who initiated this wicked battle, but there's a really good theory that this isn't the first time the Culling game took place. In chapter 106, 273, we're introduced
then
to Druv,
Yuta's
a
fights.
Jujutsu sorcerer
Just
from the
takes
past.
everybody
He's a really
out.
old, skilled sorcerer and is referred to as the veteran in his second incarnation.
I gotta love Yuta in
This
this
seems a bit
arc.
strange, and it
Spoilers,
implies that
by
he
the
was
way.
incarnated once before,
Again,
possibly in the first color.
you don't want to be here.
Another thing to note is
Trust
that
me.
Druv was so powerful back in his time that he single-handedly conquered Japan.
I recommend
during the Civil
skipping
War
like
of
5
Love,
minutes
which happened
ahead.
almost 2,000 years ago, meaning that he was alive back then. It's possible that Druv was incarnated 1,000 years ago during the Heian era, and that's when the first culling game took place. Sukuna Papercut. In chapter 216, Sukuna engulfs himself in curses in order to get full control of Megumi's body, but when he comes out, he notices something weird.
Yeah,
There's
at
a
this
scratch
point,
on his finger, seemingly a paper cut. Although the cut is small,
That's
the
weird.
manga panel made it seem super important. So, what does it mean? Well, Sukuna is known to have one of the best regenerative capabilities in the Jujutsu Kaisen world. The guy managed to...
Oh, I forgot about that completely. But yeah, at this point in the story, I'm gonna stop saying spoilers, man, because y'all still here, I don't know what to tell you. Sukuna used his 1 minute deal with Yuji to pull up. And he just used his one finger to transfer all his powers into that finger to shove it in Megumi's mouth and make him his new vessel. So the black hair thing is not Itadori, it's Megumi. It sucks, I know, but I'm
Yuji's blown up hands
I don't like
in season
Megumi
1
like
and
that.
even managed to bring him back to life. So why was there still a scratch on him? The only fight Sukuna had in Megumi's body at that point was against Yuji and Maki, so it makes sense that one of them did some kind of irreparable damage to him. This person is most likely Yuji, and there's a great theory that explores this. If we take a look back in season 1, Gojo mentions that Yuji will be able to use Sukuna's curse techniques at some point, and it'll be engraved into him. Judging by this, it's possible that Yuji subconsciously used Cleave, one of Sukuna's techniques.
Oh, they just have Cleave, huh?
To be fair, it could also be that this cut was Megumi's way of showing resistance against the King of Curses, because at that point, Sukuna still didn't have full control of his body. I don't know about you, but I definitely like the Yuji theory more. Sukuna's curse technique. So far in the manga, Sukuna's curse technique hasn't been fully revealed.
Spoiler alert! I said it last time I said it. This is literally gonna be the last time I say it. We don't know. As a manga readers, we do not know what the heck Sukuna's curse technique is. I'm starting to think not even Gege know what it is. Because he never even allude to it, period. Like, why he was opening other, like, skills trees to just use freaking fire against, Jogo and Magaraga. What's up with that? It's weird. And then his common stuff using Cleave and Dismantle. What's up with that? What's the name of the curse technique? We don't know. And why wasn't it written? Very odd. Very odd.
But there's some hints at what it may be. During his fight against Jogo, Sukuna chanted the word open, which granted him fire-based powers. From this we could just assume that Sukuna's technique has something to do with fire, but that would be kinda underwhelming for the King of Curses. So let's look at some more interesting theories. First of all, if we take a look at chapter 219, we can see that the people in the Heian era worshipped Sukuna like he was some kind of deity, and would also do rituals for him. Also, if you pay close attention to Sukuna's malevolent shrine, you'll notice that it's actually more of a feretory, a place where ancient artifacts are stored. When you combine these things together, it makes sense that Sukuna has somehow stolen techniques from his worshippers back in the Heian era and kept them in his shrine. So every time he chants the word open, he accesses it and chooses which curse technique he wants to use. This means that Sukuna has multiple techniques at his convenience and can use different techniques whenever he wants to. If this theory turns out to be true, it would be really cool to see Sukuna fight using a bunch of different abilities.
Enter all the four
real
elements?
Iron Mountain. Did you ever wonder how Jogo's domain
The real
of
Iron Mountain
got its name? As it turns out, it's not inspired by anything in the real world, but instead its origins can be traced back to ancient Indian cosmology. There, it was believed that 9 mountains and 8 seas encompass the world, with one massive mountain in the center. This central mountain is surrounded by 8 rings of mountains, and the last ring is said to be made of iron. This most likely served as the inspiration for the concept of the Coffin of the Iron Mountain in the series. It's completely insane that Gege thought of this when naming Jogo's technique, but this is still nothing compared to some of the stuff we're going to talk about in the 4th stage, Sukuna,
Here we go.
the Disgraced One. When we were first introduced to Sukuna, he
Yeah,
was
what's up with
always
that
referred
title?
to
Why
as
is
the
he
King
known
of
as
Curses.
Disgraced One?
However, later on in the story, Angel started referring to him as the Disgraced One. Why is that? Well, looking at Sukuna's appearance, especially his real body, the guy has 2 faces and 4 arms, which is obviously a bit weird. The only other sorcerer who looks nothing like a regular human is Master
What did he
Tengen.
do?
If you compare their designs, you'll notice that they both have 4 eyes aligned in a similar way, and even Kenjaku commented once on how similar Tengen was looking to Sukuna. Is this really a coincidence?
Oh my gosh.
The theory here states that the reason Tengen and Sukuna
Sukuna
have
looks
similar
so
appearances
beastly,
is
it's
because
crazy.
they both evolved. When Sukuna evolved, he pretty much lost his humanity and the ability to show any emotions. This could be the reason why Angel refers to him as the disgraced one, as he chose power over humanity. Another thing supporting this theory is the
It
fact
could
that
be
Sukuna
something
always
doing multiple felonies, multiple crimes, because he's the strongest. He never called himself the king of curses. Remember, when people call you a king, you should never acknowledge yourself calling yourself a king. That's big ego. But Sue don't have ego, but not to a point that he will like beat himself up. Stroke his ego, call himself the king of curses. Not once he ever referred himself that. That's like a real king does. He never announced that he's a king. He let his actions show it. That's the kind of person Sukuna is.
refers to humans and curses as if they're below him, hinting that he may be evolved and doesn't consider himself to be either human or curse. Yuji can swap souls. The whole theory about Yuji
Swapping
switching bodies
souls
stems
is
from this
wild.
one page in
I mean,
chapter
it was confirmed.
222. Here we can see Yuji talking to Kusakabe and referring to him as Yuji. Pretty weird, right? So if this is some kind of soul swap technique, how did Yuji even learn
I mean,
it?
is that a
First of all, in
temporary
chapter
thing?
220, Choso gives
Hey, would that
Yuji
be
a book left
dangerous
by
too?
Yuki, which contains research on the body and the soul. Also, we noted in one of the previous theories that Yuji should be able to use Sukuna's curse techniques at some point. Why does that matter? Well,
That's
we know that
very
Sukuna
unique to
somehow
him.
learned how to split his
But
soul
does it have
into
to
cursed
do
objects
with the
and was
curse
also
one
able to
to
resist
have
Mihiro's soul
Yuji do
manipulation.
just that?
So
to
after being
swap
Sukuna's
soul?
vessel for quite some time and
Is
learning about
Kan-
souls, it's
Kenjaku
possible that
knew about
Yuji now
this?
has some of those soul-related abilities and can use them to swap
Manipulating
bodies with other
souls
people.
is
This
busted.
ability could be a major
But how
turning
much
point
can
for
you
the plot of
manipulate it?
Jujutsu
And what's the
Kaisen, as
time
it may
limit on it
finally
too?
allow Yuji to become strong enough to face Sukuna. Nobara is alive. Ever since chapter
Oh,
125,
Lord, this.
Nobara's status in the manga has been unknown.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Ever since the manga, I hate living in New York City, bro. There's always something happening. But bear with me. Nobara been dead for the manga time frame since what? 2020, I think. Either 2019 or 2020. She was, I think it was 2021. She was like out of commission. But bro, forgot his name, who was healing her, said that she's in the worst condition, but she's not entirely dead, but she could be dead. And I'm like, cool. Why tell us this? Why have her hidden from us all this time? Why couldn't we see freaking Toro or Nobara for the past years? One panel be enough. A throwaway line be enough. But what we got is, after what happened to Shibuya, Yuji asks Megumi what happened to Nobara, and he didn't say anything. He was sad, and that was all we got. And we'll lead to the assumption that she's dead. Great writing from Gege's part. Yeah.
Is she dead, or is she alive? Well, although many fans already accepted that she's most likely dead and won't be appearing in the story anymore, there are some things hinting that she might actually be alive. So, as you remember, Nobara was hit by idol transfiguration, which was, time and again,
There's
described as a
damage to
technique
soul.
that can't even be cursed by reverse curse technique,
To
as it literally
recover
changes your soul. Now,
that
if we leave it
extent,
at that, we can say that,
you
yes,
can't
Nobara
just
is
come back
100%
from
dead.
that.
However, after she presumably
Mahito
dies,
damaged
this guy appears
soul,
and says that there's still
not
a
just
slight
the
chance
face,
she can
it's
be
the
saved.
soul
Now,
itself.
the important thing to
And
note
mind you, what we learn deeper into JJK is that most of the stuff that happens when it comes to curse energy conjure around the brain. This dude Mahito attacks Nobara's brain that is like here. You attack the physical brain, you also attack the spiritual, bits of the body of the soul. No, you attack the soul. The soul is like here. The head is here, like boom. Brain splatter, all that stuff done. Now, can even Nobara use her curse technique because her brain matter got splattered? Doubt it. Highly doubt it. But to recover should not be an easy thing. Let's say she is alive. She ain't doing nothing without her curse technique. But if she was, and still have her curse technique on lockdown, then soul resonance will be a very helpful thing for taking out Sukuna. If you want to take him out, aim at his soul. Hence why Gege never, verbally say Nobara is alive. But I don't care at this point. It's whatever.
That we've never seen this guy before this, and
See?
he also
That's what I'm
never
talking
appeared
about.
after this. It's like he was just created for this one specific scene. I mean, if Gege wanted to kill
Yeah,
Nobara, he could have just left her lying
pulled
there
up
and
and he left.
confirmed. But for some reason, he went through the trouble of creating a random character with a random curse technique that just so happens that it maybe can save Nobara's
been
life.
years, bro.
For obvious reasons, a lot of fans aren't buying that, and expect that Nobara will soon return to the story and help Yuji in his final fight against Sukuna. Prison Realm.
Yeah, that's
Prison Realm
hopefully
is
the
a
case.
special grade cursed object
But it's
that
not
has the
gonna be the
power to
case
seal anyone
because
inside
I
it,
don't
no matter
care at
how
this point.
strong they are. We've seen it in action during Shibuya arc when Kenjaku managed to seal Gojo, who's known to be the
Prison Realm
strongest
is very
Jujutsu sorcerer
important.
in the current era. Gojo eventually managed to come out of the
Well,
prison realm with the help
Gojo's
of
so
Hana,
strong
but now
that
that it's
it
empty
makes
again, there's
Prison
a
Realm look
huge
like a
chance that
goofy.
it'll play a massive role later on in the series. There were tons of theories about who could get sealed next, but the most plausible one is that it'll be the king of curses himself, Ryomen Sukuna. I mean, considering Sukuna's
Wow.
strength, it's really hard to imagine any of the sorcerers actually posing a significant threat to him, so sealing him may end up being the only viable option. The only problem is that they'll have to keep him within
Give
the range for one full
Gojo
minute,
another
which
seal?
won't be easy, but they may end up tricking him in some way, similar to how
What if he just
Kenjaku
used
tricked
his
Gojo.
new
Uraume's
new
incarnation.
version of clay
So,
just to...
what if Ura...
Could have just Sukuna just cut that from the outside? I don't think you can bust up your domain in the prison though. If you could, then we do rats really, but I don't think it works that way. Yeah, I don't think it works that way at all.
Uraume wasn't incarnated as summons the other sorcerers and had instead been alive for over 1,000
Another
years.
ancient sorcerer.
Sounds
right
impossible, right? Well, let's
In
go
the
over
future.
something supporting
Yeah,
this
so it's
theory.
not the
Uraume was
Sukuna.
first seen in February, while the incarnated players awaken in late October. Additionally, all other incarnated players are part of the culling game, while Uraume isn't. It's also evident that Kenjaku isn't a huge fan of
Wait,
the curse user.
not
Uraume
incarnated?
wasn't even needed necessarily to
good
Sukuna's resurrection.
information.
It just doesn't make
Might be the case. It might be the case. I think this is like debunked. Because I think I read it somewhere on Twitter X that the body is just have a name. I think it was Soji, Suzy or something like that. Supposed to be like a human female body, but the soul of Uraume is a man. So I can't understand the they them pronouns. Makes sense.
any sense why Kenjaku would even incarnate her. So if Uraume isn't incarnated, how did she survive for over 1,000 years? The best theory so far is that she survived using her ice formation curse technique. You see, Gege always tries to incorporate science
What a
into the
busted
techniques he
ability.
creates,
I like
and since
ice,
Uraume has an ice
abilities.
technique, it's possible that she can slow down her aging cryogenically.
No
This has
way.
already been proven theoretically possible by science, so it
This
would
must
make
be a
sense
theory,
that
bro.
Uraume has
But
frozen
that doesn't
herself
matter,
in order
really.
to survive, patiently awaiting Sukuna's rebirth. Only 3 more stages are left to cover,
Meh,
and let's kick
whatever.
off the next stage with
Moving
this
on.
insane theory about Kenjaku's new body. We already discussed how Nobara is most likely dead.
What you
However,
mean, new
since
body?
Mahito killed her by manipulating her soul, physically, her body should be in pretty good shape.
Stop.
This is why some fans believe that Kenjaku will eventually
Stop.
swap bodies with her to further
Stop. Mahito destroyed the soul bits of freaking Nobara. There's no way in hell that Kenjaku will just hop in to her body, which is completely destroyed. What would be the purpose of that? What would be the purpose? She's weak. With that busted ability, which can attack the soul. But if y'all peeped in the latest chapters, I'll just say that Kenjaku was out of commission. From a Pacific swordsman. That's all I gotta say.
Met Yuji and use her straw doll technique. Undeniably, poor Yuji has faced the worst kind of emotional damage in the anime, and it doesn't seem like it'll be ending anytime soon. Although this theory is really unlikely to actually happen, you have to agree that it would be really cool to see Evil Nobody in action. Tengen is one of the oldest sorcerers in the Jujutsu Kaisen world, and is known for her immortality. Since the beginning of the show, Tengen has always been shrouded in mystery, and very little was revealed about her. Since the culling game began, many fans speculated that Tengen is definitely hiding something, and there's a strong reason for that. First of all, it seems like Tengen is well acquainted with Kenjaku and knows Sukuna as well. One time Kenjaku even commented on how Tengen seemingly wants to look like Sukuna. There's a popular theory that Tengen and Kenjaku have known each other for quite a long time, and that they came up with the concept for the culling game years ago. If I had to guess, the two probably worked together around 1,000 years ago during the Heian era and started the culling game for some reason. This would also tie in well with the previous theory about Druve and the fact that there was most likely another culling game in the past. So does this mean that Tengen is an accomplice of Kenjaku? Probably not. Tengen might have had a completely different plan for the culling game and later on got betrayed by Kenjaku, which resulted in them drifting apart. Kashimo's curse technique. Although Kashimo's curse technique was revealed in recent chapters, it was a big mystery in the fandom for quite some time, and there were some great theories about it. Since Kashimo didn't want to use the technique against anyone else except Sukuna, a lot of fans believe that it was some kind of all-or-nothing attack that could cause widespread destruction. This was a pretty good guess, as we now know that his technique is called Mythical Beast Amber, and it allows him to far surpass his limits, but it can only be used once before his body crumbles. Another great theory focuses more on the mythology part of Kashimo, as his character was inspired by Takemikazuchi, who is known to be the god of thunder and the god of swords. This led many to believe that his curse technique could be summoning a single divine sword or even multiple swords.
Alright, that's interesting, but consider this. Consider the fact that the only win that we have for Kashimo on screen is against Panda. And nobody else. And there was some cases that Kashimo would have won if he would bust out his technique against a certain gambler. But then again, he only used it once, which is like a huge limitation on his point. Huge limitation to the point that it's just I did not care about him anymore. And here I thought he was ready to like fight against Yuta over, a certain battle that was taking place regarding Sukuna. So it was like fudge. She's just hype. Just hype, bro. And that's all he is, then I don't care. He one-dimensional. Not that cool, but he had that one good line. And that's really it. I think two of them. Two good lines.
The fans joked about it and said that he's going to use the unlimited blade works from the Fate series. Gojo will come back. I know a lot of you are probably tired of hearing this Gojo was alive stuff, but let's go over some hints and theories as to why it may be true. First of all, it's important to note that throughout the show, Gojo has always been associated with Buddha. Take this scene for
people
example.
out
Here, Gojo pointed one of his fingers up and one of his fingers down. This is the same exact thing Buddha did when he was born. Another thing to note is that Buddha also said the exact same
he'll come back till he did the sign.
Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honor.
Here's the reference.
Okay, but what does that have to do with Gojo?
Would it connect to the actual story?
Another thing about Buddha is
some
that he started
meaningful
his
way?
journey to
Probably
enlightenment
not.
at the age of 29.
Probably
and
not.
How old do you think Gojo is? He's exactly one day
But would
short of
Yege
29.
care
This is why a lot of fans believe that
go
these
out with
parallels
this?
to Buddha suggest that Gojo
Go
will
by
go through
this.
some kind of spiritual enlightenment and come back to the story even stronger. Another thing supporting this theory is found in Gojo's last flashback. Here, Nanami is saying that everyone has a choice to go either south or north.
I was kind of pissed off how Gojo lost. The way they presented was like pretty lazy on Yeager's part. Instead of this man showing us the whole process of what happened to Gojo, we just got an off-screen performance from the man himself. If you don't feel like, writing everything out, just skip it. Who cares? Maybe people call it good writing. Yeah, good stuff, right? Good writing. Skip.
If we look at everyone's sitting positions, we can see that Nanami and Haibara are facing one direction, while Gojo and Geto are facing the other one. Since Nanami and Haibara are confirmed to be dead, this could mean that Gojo will choose a different direction and survive. This could also make sense considering that Geto is also facing the same direction as Gojo, and we know that he's still somewhat alive in Kenjaku's current body, the last finger. As you know, even at this point in the story, Sukuna ate only 19 of his fingers, as he has no idea
I remember
where the
that
last one is.
Gojo had
There are
it.
many theories about it. Some say
They
that
put
Gojo
it
has it,
somewhere.
others say that it's just lost somewhere in the Jujutsu Kaisen
That
world.
one singular
However,
finger
the best theory so far has
that
to be that Yuji is
freaking Sukuna
actually
needed,
Sukuna's
but
last finger.
before a fight with Sukuna, a major fight with Sukuna, he didn't have the finger. Gojo had it. So where would the other finger be? Would it be with Yuji or someone that we know? To this day, I don't know.
Okay, let me explain. We know that Kenjaku was in possession of most of Sukuna's fingers, if not all of them at some point in time. We also know that he experimented on Yuji while he was pregnant. So what if Kenjaku somehow used the finger during his experiments in order to make Yuji the perfect vessel for Sukuna? When you think about it, we never really got the specific answer as to why Yuji is able to suppress Sukuna so well, and this theory would explain it perfectly. Another interesting thing is that while talking to Choso, Kenjaku referred to Yuji as it, as if he was an object. It's a term he used specifically for Yuji, and none of his other creations like Choso or his brothers. And lastly, Sukuna's original form and Yuji both have pink hair. This is a very unique character, and could hint towards the connection between the two. Before we cover the last, 7th stage of the iceberg and some of the most unhinged theories you ever heard, let's first cover the 6th stage, which is pretty crazy as well. Yuta's real curse technique. Yuta Okutsu is a second-year student at Jujutsu High and is the main protagonist in the movie Zero. There, Yuta displayed his incredible abilities, and even Gojo said that Yuta might surpass him.
We never got a name of it?
At the moment, it's
have we ever got a name of it?
Is copying and utilizing
so we do know he was just copying.
But what if this isn't the case? You see, there's a theory that Yuta's real curse technique is the ability to select a specific target with whom he shares a special bond. He then binds the target to an object that holds sentimental value.
We've never seen his domain.
For example,
either.
in Rika's case, it was a ring. Afterward, the strength of the cursed spirit correlates directly with how authentic the bond was and the intensity of the love shared. According to this theory, Yuta can also use the curse technique of the spirit he binds with, and in Rika's case, that ability is copy. This means that if Yuta ever binds with someone else, he may get to use a completely
does it have to do with
associated with the other spirit.
Wow.
Bizarre reverse curse techniques. Only a handful of Jujutsu sorcerers can use reverse curse techniques. It's mainly the ability used to heal human bodies, but if you're skilled enough, you can also combine the reverse curse technique with your regular curse technique in order to reverse its effects. For example, when Gojo does this, his blue technique becomes red, which is a color opposite to blue. When Kenjaku uses it, he can reverse the effect of his anti-gravity system and intensify the force of gravity around him. However, one big problem with this is, how would this apply to some of the other sorcerers? Take Mei, for example. Her curse technique is called bird manipulation, and it allows her to control crows. So what would the reversal of this technique look like? Do crows get to control her? What about Tengen's immortality technique? Does he just die if he tries to use it reversed? Anyway, it's quite obvious that this system doesn't work with the majority of the curse techniques in the series, so I guess some characters will just never unlock this ability. The Gasha Dokuro theory. At the end of chapter 170, we can see Megumi's domain expansion, Chimera's Shadow Garden, looking like two bones with vertebrae. Since Megumi's domain is still incomplete, could it be that this base will eventually grow into something bigger? Well, a lot of fans believe that the bones from Megumi's domain will create a huge skeleton creature called Gasha Dokuro, and here's why. The Zenin family is a descendant of one of the 3 great vengeful spirits of Japan, Taira no Masakado, whose daughter was able to summon spirits. The daughter could also summon Gasha Dokuro from the shadows and had the ability to summon an army of...
How you guys feel about these references, man? Will Gege really incorporate all of it at the final chapters, man? Because this is literally, in the manga at this point, literally the very end of the series. Not compared to freaking Demon Slayer. Because what? I think after season 1 ended, so did the manga. And all we had was like Red Light District, not training arc. Red Light District, that Schwarzsmith Village, and now we have the training arc. This time around, it's just 2 arcs for JJK. Yo, how you feel about these new heavy-hitting mangas ending in a span of like what, 5-something years? less than 10 years? Because at this point, they should have like expand on it more. I think Yege should not rush it for no reason. Because I don't see the point of him doing that. To just rush his series. Why he's rushing? Does anyone know why Yege would rush his series to a complete end? And ending before the likes of freaking My Hero? Someone tell me that in the comments. I really appreciate that. A lot.
Dogs and snakes. Sounds pretty familiar, right? Megumi has the exact same ability. What's more, in episode 9 of the show, Mahito can be seen reading a book while talking to Junpei. If we zoom into this exact page, you can see that Gashadokuro is illustrated in his book.
Or understand how curse
only appears in the anime,
techniques
and it was
works,
personally
like
supervised by Gege too. I mean, out of thousands of monsters from Japanese mythology, Gege could have included on these pages. He intentionally decided to include Gashadokuro. If this isn't foreshadowing, I don't know what is. And finally, the 7th stage of the iceberg.
You're ready,
because some of the upcoming theories are so ridiculous and bizarre that they'll literally blow your mind. Rika is not Rika.
Yeah, of course.
So this is a pretty unhinged one. So you may have noticed that the current Rika in the manga and Rika from Jujutsu Kaisen movie 0 look a bit different. Now, instead of just accepting that this is a design change, some fans came up with some crazy theories explaining
Rika
these
1.
different designs.
I'm gonna call her Rika
so you
1.
all remember
Rika 1 was devastating. Curse technique, energy output, up the wazoo, all that. Pretty busted.
how at the end of the movie, Yuta lifted Rika's curse, finally setting her free.
The very end of freaking JDK 0, she was gone.
Powers anymore.
But this
Later on, when Yuta went to Africa to train with Miguel during season 1, he accidentally cursed another girl and ended up with a completely new cursed spirit. This would explain why Rika's design is different now, as it's not Rika, it's a completely different girl. Sukuna's domain is a nuclear bomb. One of the JJK fans on Reddit noticed something interesting when comparing nuclear bombs to Sukuna's domain expansion. Apparently, some of the smaller nuclear bombs, like those used in World War II, have an instant vaporization radius of around a few hundred meters. This is really similar to the range of Sukuna's Malevolent Shrine, which is 200 meters. The shockwave of a nuclear blast immediately damages everything it comes into contact with. Same as Sukuna's technique, Dismantle, which immediately cuts everything inside the domain. And lastly, the radiation wave of a nuclear blast destroys all living things at a molecular level.
Meter to like 140 or 150, I think. So he didn't bust out the max. If he did, he will kill Megumi.
Tearing them apart piece by piece,
including
which is really similar to how Cleave cuts all living things inside the domain, tearing them apart. Looking at these facts, it's most likely that Gege partly used the nuclear bomb as inspiration when coming up with Sukuna's abilities. The useless Miwa. There's an ongoing gag in the show about Miwa, one of the second-year students
Miwa
being
never meant
completely
to
useless.
anything,
She even constantly says it
strategy.
herself. This is why there's a theory that she'll actually play a big part at some point in the story and surprise everyone. There's absolutely nothing supporting this, but everything's possible, I guess.
Stop. She made a binding vow to never wield a sword again, so she will never wield a sword again. It was even confirmed in the latest chapters that she's not doing that. Period. So this little theory means nothing. I can't believe at the very bottom. Why is at the very bottom? Who cares about Miwa? Who cares? Bro, and that one stupid scene with her just wandering around what? I don't know what colony she was at. Like, during the calling game, what the heck she was doing?
Sukuna's past life. Due to his cleave and dismantle abilities, some fans speculated that Sukuna
malevolent
most of his attacks are similar to cutting with a knife, and the fact that he can use fire techniques further adds to this theory, as it would probably help him with cooking. Also, we know Uraume was Sukuna's subordinate during the so maybe she was his cooking assistant. I mean, there was no refrigeration back then, so it's possible that Uraume used her ice curse to keep ingredients frozen. But if you're interested in what happened to Sukuna after he stopped being a chef, you can click here next, where we explained all of his forms in Jujutsu
the form of
Kaisen.
Sukuna's. Well, that's it. Okay. That was it, yeah. I've already seen this form of Sukuna's video. It was on TikTok. But yeah, that's the iceberg of JJK. How you guys feel about it? Comment that down below. Good stuff here. Shout out to the bro. His video will be linked down below. Subscribe to him while you at it. Same thing for me. I need that. I'll be out. Y'all be safe, be easy, and be chilled.